And welcome to Undercover, and welcome into David Gray. It's great to have you back in the country.
Thank you.
And no doubt we'll be seeing more of you in 2010. I hear there's quite a bit of touring on the schedule.
There is, yeah. We're going to work it all out. It's not been written in stone just yet, but I intend to sort of pay everybody a visit.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get that new album out, isn't
Yeah.
it? You're back to work again.
Yeah.
Well, last time you were out was a number of years ago, and in that time, since we've seen you then, you've turned 40.
I have, yeah. I like the ring of 40. I think I'd had enough of the 30s. They were done. 41, I'm not so sure about. It just sounds like a mess. So I'm just going to stay 40 till about 7 or 8 years' time, then
Yeah.
I'll suddenly switch over, ready for the 50 thing.
Right.
Because I think that's what you're allowed to do in the entertainment industry.
Well, you can do it in months, you know. You can say, I'm 40 and 99 months old, you know.
Good idea.
Stretch it out that way. Yeah. Well, I guess, the new album's now out, Draw the Line, and this is the first album in 4 years.
Yeah.
I would imagine that in that 4-year period, you would have had a lot of songs and a lot of ideas for songs going through your head to narrow it down to one album.
Yeah, there's a surplus of material. I mean, we recorded about 40 things, and I think we mixed about 30 odd. So there's another album there. When it's going to materialise, I don't know. I think it's best just to deal with one thing at a time. So I've picked my first 11. That's Draw the Line. They're going out, and we'll see what they can do. And now I've got another record there. One thing I learnt from the making of Life in Slow Motion, which was a very sort of fertile period in the studio, was I came up with far too much stuff. And you think, oh, well, I'll finish it later, but you never do, because when you finally come off the road 18 months down the line, you just want to do something else. You don't want to go back and tidy up what you left in the studio last time. So this time there was such a positive thing that happened with the music, with the new band. I decided, no, I'll bite off much more than I can chew and try and finish everything. So that, at least, and that's what I've done. I've basically got all the stuff mixed, and there's this album and there's some extra tracks, and there's another album and some extra tracks to go with that, which will come out at some point in the future. But I don't think it's a very good look when you come out and go, I wrote 2 albums this year. So I just think I've been focusing just on the one, but that there is another one to come.
Now, in 1968, Creedence Clearwater Revival released 3 albums.
I do know that,
Yeah,
actually.
so-
Unbelievable. I mean, different times. And they were decent records
Yeah.
too. They were really on it.
Yeah. With Draw the Line, I guess the thing that's getting a lot of attention is the duets that you have on this record. And let's talk about Annie Lennox for starters.
Yeah.
Is a very, very interesting track because Annie and Dave Stewart were the original owners of your studio, the Church, weren't they?
That's right, yeah. She recorded Sweet Dreams, Here Comes the Rain Again. I think so many of the early singles there. So it obviously holds a lot of memories for her. And they recorded videos there and did this and that. So, that was a strange thing. It was sweet in a way. It was a completely unpremeditated thing. I wrote the track. I didn't know who was going to sing the other parts. Once I worked out it was going to be a duet. So there were lots of names in the hat, and my manager just threw Annie's name in there and said, well, what about Annie? She could do it. And I thought, yeah, that could work, actually. So we sent her the track. She basically got straight back to us, yeah, I really want to do this. So I don't think she says that very often. So we lined it up. That was a fantastic experience. She's so, on it and so creative and so positive in the studio. She didn't come in with any airs or graces or anything, which was good because I really put her through the mincer on the whole thing. Can you do it more like this? It's like went on for hours, but she was a trooper. She did like 6 or 7 hours singing, and then she was worn out, unsurprisingly. But when she got the track back, we thought it sounded fantastic. But she wasn't happy. She wanted to do a lot of it again. So if we came back in and we did it all again, sort of thing. But afterwards, I could really see where she was coming from. She developed the idea, and I think anyway, it was great to work with her. She basically took everything to the nth degree in exactly the same way that I do, and we ended up singing the song as a duet, like traditional style, in the old vocal booths opposite each other, having a really good time. So it was a very positive thing.
Was that the first time she'd been back in the studio since you'd sold it?
I think so, yeah. So she was taking the mick because I hadn't changed the carpets. Tastefully clad by Dave Stewart in Stewart tartan, which is a sort of garish green colour that most people can't stomach for more than 10 minutes, but I've had to grow accustomed to it.
Wow.
Why throw out perfectly good carpet?
Well,
that's what I said to her.
Because what you could do these days is you pull up that old carpet and sell chunks of it on eBay. Dave Stewart's old carpet.
Now there's a thought.
Yeah. Give away some with that second album when
Do
it comes out.
people want Dave Stewart's old carpet? Let's see.
I think people buy anything on eBay. That track we're talking about was Full Stream, by the way. When did you write that song?
Full Steam was written towards the end of the making of the record. So, I don't actually know, to be honest. My memories wasn't usually very good on the whole thing, but I can't remember exactly. It was just... It came towards the end of the process when I just sensed that there was a bit more to be had out of the band, and this was the measure of how far we'd come. Because to do a slow track like that with the piano and the sort of a graceful start and the dynamic increasing, when you just listen to the track, it's been compressed and everything and mastered now, but you realise how quiet and delicate it is at the beginning and how much oomph there is by the end. To capture these sort of dinosaur-footed songs has always eluded us in the past. We've tried it on similar things and never quite managed it. So we got this take of this new idea and we were very excited about it. But exactly when it happened, I can't quite remember. There was so much stuff going on.
Yeah. The other duet on the album with Jolly Holland, Kathleen. Now, word is, I've seen reported that you originally asked Dolly Parton to...
Well, I did, yeah, because I wrote the song and I thought Kathleen, Jolene, I thought I had the backing vocals all worked out, I'd sung all the bits, it sounded so country to me. It's got to be Dolly, and I thought it's got to be worth a try. So there's this beautiful song she sings with Chet Atkins called Do I Ever Cross Your Mind? So I wrote her this thing, we love this track, blah, blah, blah. I've written a song, I just can't stop hearing your voice singing the backing vocal on it. Anyway, I sent it off and it came back within minutes. Dolly's busy for the next 5 years. So that was a bit of a full stop on that one.
Yeah.
So I kind of put that out of my mind. And then it was just a couple of weeks after that, Jolie was playing in Tehran. And my mate just rang me up and said, are you going to go to the Jolie concert? And I was like, Jolie, of course. Jolie should sing it. Even better. So I'm a huge Jolie fan. I think she's fantastic. So I went to see the gig. The gig was brilliant. I saw her in the pub afterwards and got chatting to her and just basically said, could you? And she made some time in her touring plans and popped down the studio. It was weird because that happened before the Annie track had happened. And it's the first time I'd ever had Annie. And I've got such respect for her. We were both like pathetically sort of nervous and sort of, it took a little while to get going. So, but it came out great. In fact, it's such an honour, first and foremost, to have these two beautiful voices on the record to accompany me. But it adds this sort of spark of magic to those tracks. It takes them a little bit further than they would have gone. So I think the Kathleen track is like the sleeper track on the record. It doesn't jump up and shout, hello, listen to me, but it's got such a big heart, that track, and Jolie's just added a little bit of magic dust on there. So I think it's a good one.